Stevens County for about 30 years. And I guess this is not the business to be in right now. It's hard to talk about construction without talking about finance. Banking is intricately tied to construction, and with everything that's going on with banking, it's just it's a minefield trying to do anything as far as finance is concerned. And listening to you, Dwayne, it reminds me of what it's like when I built a lot of custom houses for people with a lot of money, and they have very specific ideas about what they want to do, and it might be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for them. So you're pretty much bound to do things the way they want to do them, whether it makes any sense or not. And they're signing the checks, so they call the shots. And I've also built houses myself, my design to sell, and in that regard, then you try to do the most streamlined, efficient process that you can. And it kind of is like what you're going through, where people who are actually doing the job should be the ones making the regulation. And instead we have regulation coming down from places that the regulation is steered by special interests or money or whatever, and then we're forced to comply with that. And it really was a serious hindrance on all this process, not only for me, but for your industry and every industry. And trying to get out from under that burden is a very high priority, I think, for everything. And in our case, to the financial issues, and I can't speak to the banks, but in the past I've had high credit lines to where I could go out and build a house and put it on the market to sell it. Right now, they wouldn't give me $10 to build new construction. The new construction money has just virtually been cut off. And there are people, and myself included, who would be interested in building rentals or commercial property, which there is some considerable demand for higher end rentals, particularly in our area. A lot of retired people have moved there, and there's just not a good quality base of rentals there. And even though you have owners, you have, a long-term idea, and you can't get financing to do any of this stuff.
And it doesn't matter what your relationship is with the bank.
No, the bank says
credit.
It's nothing about you. They said you're an excellent customer and your credit's fine. It's just that we will not loan any money on new construction because of the glut of what's there, but they don't recognize the difference between the two, and they haven't really. It's kind of been their issue where, 4 or 5 years ago, if you walked into the bank and had a pulse, you could get a home mortgage. And now, a good friend of mine who's a realtor was telling me the other day he was closing a simple deal, $165,000 house. Guy had an 860s credit score, had the cash in the bank to pay for what he was going to buy, but wanted to finance it. He was retired from Boeing. The bank held the loan up for about a month, and they claimed that his retirement document from Boeing saying how much he got in retirement, they suspected it was a forgery. And he said, well, didn't you ever hear of a phone? I mean, you could pick them up and call, it's Boeing. And, things like that. I mean, it's a minefield to get any kind of financing. And that's really hamstrung the construction business. And I will leave it at that for the moment.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.